Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. So my name is Paulo and today we're going to be talking about what job can I actually get with Salesforce Skills. So if you do recall, last time around I spoke about how to get a job within the Salesforce ecosystem, and today we're going to be focusing then on what kind of job can you actually get. Okay, so if you did miss out on my video, I will drop it on the link above. Feel free to check it out, and if you have any questions around that, I'm happy to help. Okay, so but going back, so today we're going to be focusing then what job can you actually get. So I will share with you a comprehensive, let's say, breakdown of the different kind of jobs you can actually get, different types of skill sets, what is it that you can expect to get out of that, and then of course I'll drop some links so that you can actually understand on how much can you actually earn, okay, with regards to that. Okay, so why Salesforce? Okay, so Salesforce is, as I mentioned before, a platform that is in tremendous demand, okay, with a very, very fast growth, okay, and on top of that it caters for a different types of profiles or roles, okay, so from marketeers, from salespeople, from operations people, from developers, from architects, from consultants, from project manager, and I would say that the list just continues. Okay, so if you take that into consideration and the fact that is actually going to create 9.3 million jobs up to 2026, that is a very good reason why you should be stick around and know more. Okay, so if this is something that you really fancy and you are excited about, just give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, consider that as well, and join me on this journey and stick around, because I'm going to get then the full breakdown of all type of roles that you're going to get, and then in connection to that as well, how much can you actually earn. Okay, so speak to you soon. Okay, let's go then into the next step. So the next step is how to get there, how to get to the job that you're looking for. So essentially you're going to have three paths. Okay, so those three paths are essentially, one is related to end customers. Okay, so like for instance, the Googles of this world, the Globals of this world as well, Canon Europe, as I used to work as well. So those are the kind of end customers that you should be looking at as an alternative. Then the second point is around consultancy. So here we are talking about IQVIAs, we are talking about Accentures, we're talking about the Deloittes of this world. Okay, so that is the other path. And then you have the last one, as a contractor. Essentially you are working by your own, okay, on your own, let's say, and therefore you need to cater for the business, let's say, development side of things, the demand, but also actually making sure that you are up to date with what's happening and how is it that you can actually leverage your skills depending on the project that you get. Okay, so in my view, I already worked on two. Okay, so I worked on the end customer, and also I've worked on the consultancy side. Okay, so I did not work still as a contractor. Maybe in the future, you never know. Okay, so but to consider that, so one of the things that you need to take a look at is that my personal advice is, if you want to start somewhere, also in my view, you can do consultancy, of course, but in my perspective, maybe it would make more sense for you to start at the end customer, gain a bit of experience, let's say, and then get into the consultancy side. Okay, but it will depend a bit on your mindset. Okay, so if you are a person that is much more focused on shape the future of the company, getting to see the final results of the company, how is it that it impacts the entire revenue cycle, so the outcome of whatever you do in terms of business as well, then I would say that you should look into the end customer. But if you are someone that is always looking for something new, okay, different projects, you're looking to work 6 months in one project and then working on another one for 1 year and etc., and you don't need, between brackets, of actually changing companies, then I would say that consultancy would be the correct let's say situation for you, okay, or the correct option. If you're going to be looking at contractor, I would say that then this, in my perspective, you need to be in a level of knowledge that is higher than an entry level for sure. Okay, so you need to be at least with, I'd say, 3 years of experience around different clouds or solutions, meaning if you're working on the sales side, being really knowledgeable around Sales Cloud or Marketing Cloud or Pardot or Service Cloud or integrations, whatever may be your background with MuleSoft or Heroku. Okay, so does not matter. It matters is that you need to be in a position that you feel that you are confident enough to be able to propose solutions to the client. Okay, so that will be my advice. Is it that you need to be like waiting, let's say, for the nirvana moment where you feel that, yes, now I feel confident enough and I feel strong enough so that I can move forward? No, because most likely that will never happen. So the things that you need to understand is that you need to have at least 2-3 years of experience before you actually consider moving into a contractor position, and you have a good knowledge of whatever may be your domain. Okay, so those will be then my advice on this one. Okay, so stick around for the next one. Okay, let's go into this. Remember that before I spoke to you about two main differences. So you have what I would call the classical Salesforce roles, let's say, and then you have the non-classical Salesforce roles. So on this one, we're going to be starting then to take a look into the classical Salesforce roles, okay? And I'll break it down. Well, what is it that you can expect from this? Okay, so essentially you have to start from the Salesforce admin. Okay, is it that when I'm saying Salesforce admin, is it that you're going to be working for Salesforce, the company? No, is just that you're going to be working as the administrator of this platform on whatever situation, and customer most likely, or eventually on the consultancy side if someone is actually in the need of an admin on the end customer side, most likely. Okay, so but going back, so this is let's say one of the classical roles. So what is it that you should be expecting being a Salesforce admin? So it's expected that you are the go-to person, okay, when someone has any difficulties on troubleshooting questions around Salesforce, meaning problems on the day-to-day. It's expected that you most likely will give training, you understand reports and dashboards, that you are able to work with, let's say, with some automation solutions. So essentially, I would say that is what we call as point and click. So here we are talking about, for instance, workflow rules. We're talking about process builders. Also, between brackets, be mindful that those will be then discontinued at the end of 2022. But outside of that, we are also talking about approval processes, and we are talking about flows. Okay, so flows most likely is the thing that you need to be focusing on, and also around approval processes, and just disregard workflows and process builders. Okay, so this is the first role, that is a Salesforce admin. Okay, so moving forward, what is the other role that you should be actually expecting to be as a part of this classical side of things? Is the developers. Okay, so what is expected for you to do as a developer? Essentially, it's expected for you to work with Visualforce for website creation. Apex for coding is like a kind of a Java kind of code language. But outside of that, it's expected also for you to work with components. It's expected for you to work with the automations that I already referred on the previous one. And also it's expected for you to be able to work with components, configuration of Salesforce as a whole. And it's expected for you to build and validate complex solutions that are not being able to be done via the normal configuration and automation of Salesforce. Okay, so that's the developer role. Okay, moving forward, what is it that you can actually expect? So if you have, let's say, something that is developed, you need to test. Okay, so then the next point will be most likely to have a tester. Okay, so this is one of the classical roles out there. Okay, so the tester or QA is someone that actually essentially tests the solutions that are built end to end. Okay, so this could be a developer, a more junior developer that is getting to his level, or a business analyst or consultant as well. But normally speaking, testers are more connected to the developer or the more functional side that are looking to test the different variables of the solution. Okay, then moving forward, another classical, let's say, not as classical, but it's becoming more classical. It's the project manager. Okay, so as a project manager, you are expected to manage the client, may that be internal clients or external clients, and manage the team. Okay, it's expected for you to actually to talk to the developers, talk to the tech lead, talk to the architect, talk to the marketeers, talk to whoever that is part of the project. You need to manage all of those, and you need to manage the KPIs of the project. May that be cost, time of delivery, etc., etc., etc. Okay, that will depend a bit on what's the scope of the role of the project manager. But one of the things that I would say that is a must more and more is that you need to understand both the business part and the tech side. Okay, because if you do not understand that, then you're going to be struggling, because you will become much more of a coordinator and not as much as a project manager. And you remember one thing: you need to be owning whatever the project is, okay, end to end. For that, you need to be able to actually to challenge the technical side. You need to advise and challenge the team in terms of the business side as well. Okay, so that is another one. Okay, let's move to the next one, that is essentially around the business analyst or consultants. Okay, so here you have two folds. Okay, so you have what I call or you have two folds exactly. So one around Sales Cloud or Service Cloud. Okay, and then you have another ones more related to Marketing Cloud. Okay, so what are the differences between the two? Essentially, they are, I would say, more or less alike, in the sense that they are indeed focused on providing advice, and insights on how to improve the business processes. May that be on the marketing side or on the sales side or service side. They also are responsible for gathering the requirements of the project. But then there is a slight difference if you're working mostly on the sales or service side, or if you're working on the marketing side. So if you're working on the sales and service side, it's expected that you then will be focusing on some of the automations that were already referred, and configurations, okay, such as approval processes, flow, and the configuration of the infrastructure, but also trying to understand how is it that the sales organization actually works, so that you can advise in terms of the business process. Okay, and then on the marketing side, it's expected that you actually understand marketing, so that you can actually advise in terms of the marketing side, but also that aside of the gathering the requirements, giving the advice, that you also take a look into, if you are looking into Marketing Cloud, that you understand the different solutions that you have within Marketing Cloud. Can be that you're going to be touching or not on AmScript, that is more of a developer kind of thing, or for instance, if you're on the Pardot side of thing, that is the other solution around marketing, that you're going to be focusing then specifically within, for instance, Engagement Studio as a tool. Okay, so you need to master those. Okay, so this is another classical role. Okay, then last but not least, that I would say are the architects. Okay, so architects are responsible for the overseeing the solution end to end, making sure that it works, okay, from a platform perspective, but also making sure that it makes sense from a technical perspective, that is scalable, that is sustainable. So that is essentially the role of the architect, is to put the puzzle together. Okay, so then the other point that is important to understand is that an architect, normally speaking, are much more towards the consultancy side, okay, because they are more expensive, normally speaking, but you can also find architects on the end customer. Okay, so this is around the classical roles. Let's go then into the non-classical roles, so stick around if you want to know more. Okay, let's close this one. So we're going to be talking about non-classical Salesforce roles. Okay, so on the back of what we just covered. So I would say that you have four main roles. Okay, so let's start with the first. So we're talking about sales operations. Okay, so essentially here, if you are looking to work on sales operations, most likely going to be working within Sales Cloud. Okay, so what's your role? Okay, so you give support to sales. Okay, you have this fundamental role to make sure that you analyze what's happening, that you keep up the business process as it should. You are in deep connection with the Salesforce admin, okay, because most likely you're working together. But essentially, it's your focus to make sure that you use Salesforce. You need to be most likely an expert on business processes, on reports and dashboards. You need to give training. You need to guide the team from a sales perspective so that you can actually help to increase their efficiency. Okay, that's the role of the sales ops. Then, if we're going then to the other side, they have marketing operations. So that is another role. So marketing operations mostly they are connected to help the head of marketing, the CMO, the marketing manager, whatever may be the role that you are related to. But essentially, you are, let's say, overseeing the marketing project, okay, and campaign. You are in deep connection with the tools that you are going to be using. May that be Pardot, may that be Sales Cloud, Marketing Cloud, and all the extra marketing technology that you need to put on top. Okay, so this is a kind of a hybrid role that also looks at the data and the analytics actually to make sure that you can understand what is the contribution of marketing to the pipeline. Okay, so this is one of the roles that it's non-classic, let's say, but it's growing quite a lot. Okay, because more than ever, marketing needs actually to prove their role, needs to prove their worth, and more than ever they're actually guiding a big expense, let's say, in terms of, or investment, let's say, in terms of the tools around the marketing technology. So this is something that is really in fast growth. So if you want to go for it, just go, because you will not regret. Okay, so outside of that, the other thing that I would say that is really in higher demand as well, it's not as much, let's say, as marketing ops or sales ops, but it's also in a higher demand. So we're talking about revenue operations. So those that are working within revenue operations are essentially focused on the alignment of marketing, sales, and service. So they are focusing on making sure that the customer that exists within those three platforms actually work as expected. The full customer life cycle is working as expected. So they are really focused on breaking down silos between the three parts, and also they are focusing on making sure that at the end we have a good control of the tools, of the processes, of the full integration between those three parts. Okay, so most likely they will be focusing on processes, on tools. They have to have some deep knowledge, or at least some considerable knowledge of marketing, sales, and service, so they can actually advise. And then most likely you're going to be working on Marketing Cloud, Pardot, Sales Cloud, and Service Cloud. Okay, so that's the focus. Then lastly but not least, digital marketing. So most likely if you're going to be working on the digital marketing side, it's expected for you to use some techniques like PPC, SEO, and also email, search engine optimization. So those are the kind of social media, display advertising. So those are the type of solutions or techniques that it's expected for you to deal with as a digital marketeer. Okay, so if you're looking into this, normally speaking, you're going to be working within Marketing Cloud or within Pardot. But if you are on the Marketing Cloud side of things, it's expected for you to actually to work in Social Studio. Okay, so if you go into Marketing Cloud, you're going to have different studios, one of which is actually Social Studio that actually connects to the different social networks out there, and of course allows for you to spread the word in terms of your digital marketing activities and efforts. Okay, so outside of that as well, if you're working on the Pardot side, normally speaking, it's expected that you be really connected, let's say, to what it's called Pardot connectors. Okay, so Pardot connectors are essentially solutions that connect to webinar platforms, to AdWords, to Facebook, to solutions such as for instance events as well. So that's the focus that you should be looking at if you are considered to work within the digital marketing in connection to Salesforce. Okay, so that's it, guys. Hopefully this was an interesting session. Okay, if you did actually enjoy it, just give it a thumbs up. Join me on this journey. I'm quite happy to exchange knowledge and share knowledge as well, mostly in connection to martech, marketing technology, and CRM, and also tech consulting, but also of course around life as a whole, and also around living across different countries and cultures, as I've been doing for the last year. So I've worked up to now and lived in 5 different countries. So I'm happy to share that as well. Okay, so with that said, that's it, guys. Enjoy your day, and please feel free to drop any questions if you have any. I'm happy to help again. Okay, that's it. Take care. Cheers. Hi, this is an extra. So today is all about helping Ukraine. So I'll leave some information, useful information that you can actually use, that I also use in order to help out. Okay, so I'm doing my share, so I'm hoping that you do yours. Okay, and as Sia used to say, we are unstoppable today. So I'll leave there also the song so that you feel actually, let's say, blessed. Okay, take care. Cheers.